What's up, TikTok family? What's up, YouTube family? Let's get right into this. Y'all see the thumbnail. I'm going to be talking about, in this video anyway, I'm going to be talking about how feminism is fueled by white supremacy. You know, I really understand that feminism gets its power from white supremacy because, in my opinion, white supremacy doesn't affect women like that. So I'm going to talk into that. I know people's not going to agree with that, but that's what I believe, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk about the Jezebel Spirit, how it's running wild, and I'm going to tell you, my brothers, how to avoid this Jezebel Spirit, what it is, exactly how it takes place in a woman's mind, and I'm also going to let you understand that it is an evil entity. It is an evil spirit that's been evoked into this world with all this witchcraft that was going on in the last 10 to 15 years. So let's get into it. First of all, I want to talk about Big Tigger. You know, I grew up on Rap City, so you know I really like Big Tigger, not for nothing. I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like he's a part of hip hop, just like everything else. Rap City was one of my favorite, if not my favorite, rap show. I think it brought BET to the forefront. You know, and he took it over at a really young age, and he really embodied what it was to be inside of our culture. He came across like one of the fellas, and I think he did a great job on Rap City. Kept his I don't really follow him on radio because I'm out here in the East Coast. I'm not sure exactly where he do his radio not his podcast, but his radio broadcast. But I'm just not really that familiar with him as far as radio is concerned. I know he has a lot of success. That being said, I'm going to give my opinion about the rumors. So, back in the day, they was trying to say that he was a down low brother. You know what that is. I'm going to be a little sympathetic, but y'all know what that is. But anyway, Corinne Steffens, a.k.a. Superhead, she went on a rant a little while ago. She had the book. I think she had 2 books, if I'm not mistaken, but she was on the bestsellers list because she had slept around with she was a video vixen, and she had slept around with a lot of celebrities at that time. And she was spilling the tea, so to speak, about everything that she went through in the industry, including, I forgot exactly what she said. Don't get me to lying about what she said. This has been a minute ago. She said something about Tigger, and you know, she claimed that on Jamie Foxx radio show, or I don't know if it was Jamie Foxx radio show, but I know Jamie Foxx was on the radio show. But anyway, they had him up there they had her up there because she was claiming all this stuff about Jamie Foxx as well. So they was making a whole bunch of jokes about it, but they called Big Tigger, and she said right to his face, she said, you know, she came into the hotel room. The hotel room smelled like boo-boo. No. All over the hotel room. She said she went in the bedroom and lifted up the sheets, and they was all bloody. And she said, you know, it had to do with him and Tyson Beckford. Tyson Beckford, he denied it vehemently. If I'm saying that word right, I don't know how to say that word. He denied it, and they had him up on the broadcast, and Tigger denied it. And the way he handled it, I'm not gonna front. I don't know what happened, but I kind of believed him. A lot of people believe the other way, but just by the fact that she got caught in a whole bunch of other lies, and I saw what the benefit of her telling these lies was, I just didn't believe it. So that being said, I like Tigger. I don't feel like he really did nothing wrong. Now in this case, I feel like he got caught in a trance. I mean, that was the main reason why, you know, I kind of was believing the rumors a little bit. I didn't really know what to believe, but I was kind of believing the rumors because, like 50, and I'm not saying 50 did nothing either. I'm not saying 50. I love 50. 50 is one of my favorite rappers. He's definitely in my top 5. But 50 is not married. Smart man. Very smart man. 50 never he got in a few problems with a few couple babies' mothers, but he never got married. So the allegations swirled around about him and everything. I don't know if y'all remember all of that stuff that went on with Game, with the gay unit and all the rest of that nonsense he was talking about. But anyway, they were saying this about Tigger, and he wasn't married, so I didn't know really what to believe. But after all this time go by, I can honestly say I never believed it. She just didn't seem like a believable person. A lot of the stuff she was saying, a lot of these artists and stuff she never got nobody ever gave her a cease and desist or sued her in any kind of way, I don't think. But I just never believed it. Make a long story short, that was the only real bad thing he went through. He messed with I forgot Tiana. I forgot her name, but she was from the Cosby Show. The young girl from the Cosby Show, dark skin girl. He was messing with her. That went on for a minute, and then he had the rumors going around that she had double back on her husband, and she got pregnant, and the husband didn't believe that it was his, ended up taking a blood test, and it was his. He had egg on his face with that, but neither here nor there. Tiger's always been a stand-up dude. I don't know if y'all remember. I really remember this. I don't know if y'all remember when Ghost called him out. You know what I'm saying, on air. Ghost kind of chumped him a little bit. That was just funny to me. But that being said, he's always been a stand-up guy. It's unfortunate. I just feel like he got caught in that spell of what we gonna call the Jezebel Spirit, But this woman right here, if we can call her that, whew, she's a lot. You know what I'm saying? She's a lot. Her name is Alicia Brown, and I did my research on this woman. I'm being respectful to the woman. Very, very pretty girl. Very pretty girl. Especially for an older woman. She's very pretty. Extremely smart. She speaks Russian. She did very well in school. She was a tech specialist and all the rest of this. She was in the not the army, but she was in some form of the military as some type of linguist or something like that. But anyway, she was an extremely smart woman, doing really good for herself. So, with that and her being pretty, and I know she probably got the muscle down there. She had him in a loop. She had him in a loop, and he decided to go ahead and marry her and get her pregnant. Big mistake. Huge mistake. Especially going by the fact that people was telling her about him, because she definitely got a pass. First of all, number one, my young fellas, y'all got to stop messing with these girls with kids. I know how it looks. I get it. I know how it looks. But just the fact that she's willing to leave him. Now, if circumstances change, if he's abusive, okay. If he's in jail, I understand. But if she just left him because he ain't got no money, or she left him because, she felt she can do better, or the worst of all, she cheated on him with you, leave her. Like, go ahead and have fun with her if that's what you want to do. I don't advise that either. But if that's what it is, do not wife her up. Don't do it. It's not going to work out for you. She's not going to be good. Don't mess with somebody else's baby's mother. Don't do it. Or somebody's ex-wife. Don't do it. Two things can happen. Even though this is one of the main things about the Jezebel Spirit, because having a triangle, that people that's in, I'm just a little segue. People that have the Jezebel Spirit, because the Jezebel Spirit can be on men too. was narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. These kind of people will put you in a triangle with you and another man. That's part of this whole situation. If you're a woman, the man will put you in a triangle with another woman. That's part of this whole situation. The thing that makes this most dangerous is you never know when the other part of the triangle is crazy over love or over the sex part. Good monkey make people crazy. Know that. And you don't want to be a stepdaddy. Stepdaddies get no respect. Trust me, no young man wants to hear his mom in there making all kind of funny noises in the middle of the night. And if she got a female child, shit, you might end up on that essay list. She got a male child, and he seemed a little swaggy. He filming his mom and his stepdad in a confrontation, and he seemed kind of like a female in his mannerisms. Because, first of all, Tigger he was trying to get his phone back, and the young man was like, get off my mother. But all that yelling, like, if you not throwing them things, if you not making him get off, like, that's feminine to me. That was real feminine. But anyway, Mr. Tigger, get off her, Mr. Tigger. You stepping on her. Like, it just seemed real feminine to me. But I'm sure that young man, even after that, they got back together after she got her face all busted up and called the police and tried to ruin them. They was back together, and she was claiming that, the young man was in the room. Everything cool now. So, he's gonna, her kids are gonna side with their mother. That you're not their father. They are gonna side with their mother, and all that love and all that affection and all that, everything you've given them it's gonna be really for nothing. Second of all, if you have kids by her, that gets kind of dicey. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, now she got two children's fathers, and it's like, it just gets real confusing. But another reason why is she can always say that you're abusing the other child. The other child is not yours. She can already say you're abusing your own child, which this woman did, which is crazy. So let's get into this. Let's get into this woman. So first of all, she got, two other baby daddies. Not married to nobody except for Tigger, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now, the first baby daddy, as far as the second baby daddy's statement was, he's terrified of her because this woman, she's extremely smart. She's connected with the criminal system, and she's ill with the IT, with the phones and the computers and all of that. So he said he's totally terrified of her. So she pretty much do whatever she wants. So the second child's father, their child is missing right now. The child's father hasn't seen his daughter for the last 7 years. They just picked her up. This is what this mugshot is about. They just picked her up on the kidnapping suspect charges, which is crazy. Now, this is the reason why I said the feminism is supported by white supremacy, because she got away with all of this stuff. Not only that, she had gone through multiple things with this young girl, with their daughter together. She had went through multiple neglect things. I think 3 different cases of neglect. Then the biggest one of all, now she had 3 different cases of neglect, right? The child was, outside, going back and forth. They went through an incredible custody battle with the child's father. Every single time something would happen, she wouldn't do something exactly the way Alicia wanted things to go, according to him. So if he wanted to take his daughter to movies on Saturday, he would ask the mother if he could take the child to the movies on Saturday. She would say, no, you can't take the child on Saturday, but you can take it Sunday. Now, he would obviously be like, I'm not available on Sunday. I only have Saturday. So she would emphatically say no. So this is what their relationship was. Now, fellas, I want you to know that when you're dealing with a woman with the Jezebel spirit, the more you try to be the goody good guy, the more you try to, be amicable with her and work things out, the worse it's gonna be. And their attacks always come from nothing. Trust me, I was married to one for 15 years. That's why I have enough experience to understand everything this is about. They will use the children against you as another form of triangulation and manipulation and control over you. And they always get away with it. If anything happens with you, she can smack herself in the face and say you did something. Police come in and arrest you, take you down, and you're gonna go through the whole gambit of things that comes with that. This is what her second child's father said he was going through. All types of assaults that she would make up, and he would have to go through. Now you got to remember that she has a criminal. She's in the criminal system, so she knows exactly how it works. Not to mention, like I said, she, in my opinion, has shown to be above average intelligence. So she knows exactly what she's doing, exactly what to say, exactly how to manipulate that system so it works for her. But the reason why I say that white supremacy supported her is because she had at least three prior neglects on this child, back and forth in the system with the battery. She's never been arrested. He's been arrested multiple times. And then finally, she leaves the child in the car for at least 8 hours in a parking garage with, they said she put blankets on the windows, leaving the child in the parking garage while she's in the casino playing whatever she's playing at the casino. They said they had the woman on the camera. She never once went down to check on that child. The only way the child was found is because a security guard was doing his rounds inside of the parking garage and heard the girl screaming inside of the car. Saw the blankets on the window, couldn't see the child in the car, and she caught a charge like that. Now the woman goes to court. And I saw, as far as now I can't show any of these videos because I'm still not sure exactly how all of these things work. I will begin to show videos, but last time I did this, I was getting flagged, and it's just a mess. So I'll show stills of it, but as you can see, it was on the news. They were totally appalled by, the district attorney was totally appalled and was speaking out against how neglectful she was and how irresponsible it was and all the rest of this stuff. Now, mind you, she left the child in the car for 8 hours. The child was screaming. Who knows? That child could have been near death. Who knows? She never went and checked on the child one time. So they prosecuted the woman. The judge gave her 3 years, then turned right back around and did something with the case, modified the case. She ended up only having to do 3 days. Then they turned around and did something for her record, so it was stricken off of her record. Now, fellas, you tell me. Ladies, you tell me. Was that a fair deal? And would that have happened to a man if he would have done that? Now, at that time, the girl goes into, DCF care, forced and she's in the foster care system while her mother is going to court. So, the first thing they do is give the child to the dad. So once she gets out of the situation, they still have joint custody. They never took the child away from the mother, even after the 3 neglects and this heinous neglect. They still didn't take the rights away from the child's mother. So they're joint going. The child is going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is incredibly stressful on the child. So now she claims that the father molested his daughter. So guess what happens? He goes to court, he gets arrested, and they throw the book at this young man. They throw the book at him. He ends up losing his job. He ends up being totally destitute, loses his apartment, loses his car, and all type of garbage. Was totally unable to fight that system. So the child goes into foster care because of that, and had a foster mother or whatever. So the father, while he's out, he's trying to be, with the foster care system. Mom, something happened with the mom where, she wasn't, because what ended up happening with her was her mom would always flee and move from state to state, here to there, here to there. And she has the first baby's daddy's has a girl also. And she named both girls the same name. Both of their name is Aaliyah Brown. Neither one of the children have their father's last name. They both have her last name and both basically named by her. But because she has 2 children with the same name, it makes it easier for her to get around, because when the paperwork comes, they don't know which child is what. It messes things up. So back to what I was saying. She goes from she's moving around from here to there, from here to there. So she's in contact all the time with the foster mother, but she's pushing demands on the foster mother also about doing this and about doing that and about doing this and about doing that. Now, mind you, he has a SA case now, so he can't have direct contact with the child anymore. He can still talk to her on the phone and everything like he was doing, but he can't talk to her anymore. Then the child gets missing from the foster. I believe it was from the foster parents, but I'm not sure. I really, honestly, I think something happened where they they started seeing the father again. He was at the father's house, and I think they got missing from the father's house. I'm going to do some more research and figure this out. I'll put it. You're gonna see it on the screen here because I'm gonna do some research while I'm here, and I'm gonna figure this out. So the child gets missing. Now, it's weird how this whole thing happened with the child getting missing, because what ended up happening, I'm positive that the child was at the father's house, because he said she sent the child over there with 2 iPhones and an Apple Watch. So she said the child had ran away before. See, this is where I get a little confused. But the child had ran away before. Mom was calling and saying that, giving her instructions on what to do, and then would tell her to get dressed and get her stuff and then get by the window and open the window, and she would get the girl out the window without the father actually knowing. So he would just wake up and the child would be gone. So the same thing happened again. They have suspects that say that it was a white SUV that the child was in. Alicia Brown has 2 white SUVs. Now, let me stop for a second. All of this is happening while she's with Tigger. So she has two white SUVs, and they say that the last time they seen the child was in a white SUV, but the cop said, they can't arrest on that because they didn't have a license plate number. They just knew it was a white SUV, and just because mom has two white SUVs doesn't mean she's the one to do it. But they never brought her up as a suspect, and the child ends up getting out the window and getting missing. Now, she was never brought up on these charges until now, and because all of this stuff that happened with Tigger, and her busting her eye open and everything that happened with this whole thing. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but since then she's been brought up on these charges. The father hasn't seen the child in 7 years, which is crazy. Now, how is it that white supremacy is not pushing this? Now, fellas, if you're listening, you've gone through something like this. It may not have been as much as this. I'm not going to go into all the stuff that I went through. But trust me, I went through a lot. But fellas, have you gone through this type of stuff? Have you been in and out of jail behind a woman making up charges on you? And women, have you ever, when you get arrested, be honest with yourself. When you get arrested for something that has to do with your child's father, do you ever really go to jail? Or if you do end up going to jail or anything, what happens when you go to court? I guarantee you 90% of y'all is going to be going through the same thing. How is this not white supremacy pushing this agenda against the male? Not only that, it makes you guys have an easier job. An easier time getting jobs. You have an easier time getting accepted to go to college. You have an easier time getting apartments, getting residence. You have an easier time when you're in some type of financial bind and getting some type of help. Okay? I don't believe that racism affects you. And I believe that's another thing that comes in between us. You looking at your man like he actually needs you, not understanding that white supremacy is holding him back, because white supremacy is not holding you back. So you're just looking at it like he's a deadbeat. He can't do nothing. He's some type of a loser unless he's an exceptional man. But if he's not an exceptional man like Tigger, then he's just a bum to you. Because white supremacy is not going to support him the same way he supports you. Your baby's daddy has all these cases, right? He's desolate. He don't even got money to fight you. You riding around with, I think she has a Range Rover and she has some other expensive SUV. I can't remember what they are. I put them up here on screen. But she's with Big Tigger, and he said it was emotionally draining to be totally desolate, not have your child, not be seeing your child. Your child is totally missing. You don't know what's going on with a female child on top of that. She's 17 now, by the way. And on top of that, you're watching this woman escalate that you believe that did it, that you believe that had something to do with it, allegedly. Can you imagine what that's like? This is what this man had to go through. This is what this man's life is. Now, like I said, now Tigger got a child with her. Now, all of a sudden, she's starting this stuff with him. Remember, I was wondering why he was trying so hard to stop her from having the phone. Until I dug in and did a little research on her. She's an IT specialist. That's why he was going so hard about the phone. That's why he was going so hard to keep her out of his computer. That's why. She got bust her head wide open because was trying to do whatever she was trying to do with the computer. And he was trying to stop her from doing that. He was trying to restrain her. Trying to hold her. but he was going really hard, and I was wondering why he was doing that. Now, let's go back real quick. Now, when the incident happened, when the little girl was in the car, she was 4 years old. She was 4. Okay? So her child's father said that he had tried to put in hearings for the neglect that was happening before that. So he had been trying to get a custody judgment way before that. But he was never able to get her served. I'm talking about Alicia Brown. He was never able to get her served. So finally, when all of this goes down, he was able to get her served. You know, this is after the incident happened at the casino. So now he's able to get her served. He said that now this court system dragged this whole thing out for 3 years until he got a court date for a hearing for the trial date, because they got a process where they go through and see if you can work it out before they go to trial to try to save the money and all of that. 3 years. Now, this is the 3 years when there is no agreement on the table and there's no, custody, whatever. So all of this time, she's with mom. He finally gets to court after 3 years being in court. Now, the young lady is 7 years old now. Then it takes 18 months in the trial. They dragged on another 18 months in the trial. This totally dragged his money out and everything else. Now, the child is still with mom the whole time. 5.5 years he went through this after she left the child, a 4-year-old child, in the car while she was gambling at a casino. 5.5 years this went through. And the whole time that they're going through this process, she keeps alleging that he's doing something to the child, so he can't see the child. This is going on over and over and over, and he's going back and forth to all type of criminal court, trying to defend himself the whole time he's going to court for this. Now, mind you, while they're going through the custody battle, things got so bad with Alicia abusing her child that the court restricted all contact with her daughter. They restricted mom from all contact with the daughter. So the child had to briefly go into foster care. I know you're wondering how long she had to go into foster care. 3 days. She goes into foster care for 3 days. Then within that 3 days, that's when the child gets missing. According to the father, there was no Amber Alert when the child gets missing. For 1 week, the child was missing and no Amber Alert. Finally, they put the Amber Alert out. That's when he found out that there was a white SUV that was in the neighborhood that nobody knew. There again, like I said, allegedly, Alicia has 2 white SUVs. But there was a white SUV that was out there lingering, and the child has been missing ever since. This has been 7 years that the child has been missing. So they go through the neglect until the child is 4. He said at least 3 times where they went through all kind of neglect. Then she leaves the child in the car at 4 years old at the casino for 8 hours. Then it takes 5.5 years for the whole court proceeding to be done, where she goes into foster care for 3 days. Then she's missing now for the last 7 years. Now she's 17 years old. Outside of the abuse, don't it just look just like Erica Mena and Antonio Bibbs? Isn't it the same thing? Did you see them with the kids and her posting on social media and doing all the rest of this stuff? And fellas, you got to make sure you be careful with these women that's always in the camera. If she always in the camera, always wants you in the camera, that's a red flag. If this is not white supremacy helping her out with this whole proceeding, what else is it? What else is it? Remember Nas was saying the same thing about Khalees, keeping him away from his children, being totally controlling. Did the money help Nas? Nas is extremely well off. Just like Tigger. I mean, does the money help you guys? Did it help Will Smith with Jada Pinkett? Listen, fellas, this revolution that we are about to go through. My FBA men, we are going through a revolution. Did you or did you not see those white tee men with the masks at the Capitol on 4th of July? Do you not understand what this fever pitch is going through? We really did something when it came down to the boycott that we did, along with other boycotts that's going on. Do you guys see this? They're talking about bringing back segregation. I don't think we care too much about that, FBA family. I don't think we care too much about this. But what I'm trying to tell you is if we allow them to use women like this against us, we will lose this revolution, family. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but unless God okays this, it's not going to happen. And we must align. We must align with the right things to do. Now, this is the reason why I'm going to tell you about how to align yourself with the Most High for power. Because it ain't going to be your money that help you. Did the money help Will Smith, y'all? Did the money help Will Smith? Did the money help Marcellus Wiley? Did it help Marcellus Wiley? And if you have children with a woman like this, because she has taken control of you based on your fornication and your weak control over your emotions and your physical body, then she got you. And they're going to use her against you. They're going to weaponize her against you. Now, I'm about to say something that's going to seem real crazy to y'all. I'm going to say something that sounds real crazy. If I'm Big Tigger at this point right now, I'm divorcing her and I'm going to act like I don't want to see my children or my child. I know that sounds crazy to y'all. As bad as you're going to want to see your child, as bad as you're going to want to be there for the child and protect the child and everything else, you're going to have to act as though you don't want to see that child. Because if you use that level of reverse psychology, 9 times out of 10, we'll say 8 times out of 10, this is a gamble. But she's going to want you to see the child because she's going to want to inflict as much pain as possible. She don't want the child. Remember that. She didn't have the child because she loves the child. I know it's hard to understand, but people like this don't love anybody. They don't have no love in them. They're demons. You understand that? And I know it's crazy, but you had a child with that demon. And if you allow that woman to manipulate you with that child, it's not going to help the child and it ain't going to help you. So the best thing you can do is act. If it's not going to be your way, don't see the child until the time is right. Trust me, trust and believe, she will force that child down your throat if you act like you don't want to see that child. Trust me when I tell you that. Unfortunately, the worst thing that can happen to you is the worst thing that can happen to you is that she will continue to keep the child away from you. But you got to keep your paper right and you got to go through that court system for that situation. And you have to maintain doing it through the court. You have to have no contact with a woman like this, no contact other than court contact. When you go and see that child, it should always be someone there, an official there, whether it's a police officer, whether it's somebody with DCF or something along those lines. But it has to be official anytime you see the child. And this has got to be what it is. You can't stop trying to get full custody of a child like this. You have to get a very good lawyer. And you have to go hard. Unfortunately, the young man that she went through, young man that she went through it with, she exhausted his funds. And she had way more money than him. And she also had a lot of power within the court system, unfortunately. Now, let's get into Jezebel. And so we can understand what this spirit is. This is the goddess Kitesh from Egypt. If you notice, she's standing on the back of a lion. The lion represents the virility of a man. On one side of her is Amen. The other side is Osiris. They are both the chief deities of Egypt. At the bottom, she needs worship. She is also worthy of worship from other females. She holds lotus flowers in one hand, representing the female genitalia, and she has serpents in the other hand, representing male genitalia. She is a fertility god of sexual energy and virility, and also eroticism. She is the goddess of eroticism because eroticism is the thing that overpowers a male. As you can see, she is in a triangle, like I said before. The Phoenicians called her Asherah. When you think about Jezebel, immediately think about manipulation, deception, idolatry, and wickedness. Think of the sexual power of a woman, how that power cripples a man or brings a man to his knees. She is beauty, she is seduction, and she is eroticism. She is lust, she is fornication. She is also idolatry and the worship of a woman. She is the picture and the goddess of feminism. Jezebel's father's name was Ethbaal, meaning with Baal or man of Baal, or even Baal exists. This is the symbol of Baal. I don't know if you recognize this symbol, but this is the symbol of the double cross of Lorraine, in which the Masons use. It's also a phallic symbol and also the symbol of the female genitalia, the same as Kitesh holds the lotus plant and the serpents. I'm sure you recognize the Baphomet, but this is also Baal. It's just a reinterpretation of Baal. If you can see, his genitalia is the same as the symbol of Baal. Jezebel's name means where is the prince, or where is Baal, because he is the rain man or the storm god. So they would always, in times of drought, scream out, where is Baal? Her name means where is Baal, or where is the prince. And this is Asherah, same as Kitesh. It's just she's a Phoenician goddess and Kitesh is an Egyptian goddess. Same goddess, just a different time with different people. She is also the fertility god. As you can see, she's still, the things that she's holding in her hands are the same as the serpent and the lotus flower. They're just in a different shape. She's also standing on the back of a lion. As you can see, she has the feet of a bird. And lies the reason why people call women chickens and birds. Now, Jezebel's father raised her to be a queen, but he raised her to be a queen that would be a conqueror. And he wanted power. So he married her off to the king of Israel at the time, which was Ahab. And Ahab was the king of Israel, but Ahab was pretty much soft. He was a soft king. He was rich all his life, and he liked material things, and he liked, he was a playboy, so to speak, but he wasn't a conqueror. Jezebel, on the other hand, was a monster. She was an absolute monster. And she was a little too much for Ahab. So when she came to Israel with her gods, Jezebel pretty much took over Israel. And Ahab just laid down and allowed her to worship her gods the way she wanted to. He pretty much gave her the keys to the kingdom, and she ran Israel vicariously through him. Ahab was an evil king. The Bible says that Ahab did more to provoke the anger of God than any other king before him in Israel. Jezebel really put that monkey on him, because soon as she got to Israel, the first thing she did was kill all of the prophets of Israel, all of the prophets of God, and she did away with the worship of the Most High in Israel and replaced them all with Baal and the Asherah poles. It wasn't until she came in contact with Elijah and Elijah put her in her place. But we'll get back to that story at another point. The fact of the matter is that she is what these women are today. Feminists desire the worship of a man. They basically have penis envy, and they want to be leaders instead of being women. They don't want to be led by any man. They would rather take the place of a man. The spirit of Jezebel is also in homosexuality. It is the spirit of a man that embraces his feminine side for the power over other men. One thing I want you to understand is that God reveres the relationship between a man and a woman. The relationship between a man and a woman is sacred to God. And it's the first relationship that he made for a man. He made a woman to be a man's helpmate. That was a gift to a man. Anything outside of the relationship between a man and a woman that isn't fruitful is an abomination. Remember what I said about the serpents that Asherah holds in her hand, or Ketesh holds in their hands. They represent the male phallus. Isn't that the same thing that Satan was? He was a serpent. The apple is the fruit or the seed within itself. Doesn't that have a lot to do with reproduction? Before Adam and Eve sinned, they didn't have to reproduce. But after the sin, they put on aprons to cover themselves. They were ashamed. And after that, he said that she should have pain in childbirth. Jezebel, Asherah, and Ketesh all represent that same sin that was in the beginning. Umbrella by Rihanna was a song to Baal. She was Asherah in the video. If you notice the video, she is repelling semen in the video. Go back and watch that video. They show the image of the Baphomet, and she also is impregnated in the video. The Baphomet is a male and female or androgynous goddess or god. He has breasts like a woman. He has a vulva like a man, like a woman, and he also has a phallic symbol. It's all an inversion of what God originally wanted, and it is an abomination. Both Asherah and Baal, they both want child sacrifices. That sacrifice is the inversion of what Jesus gave to us. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And this is the inversion of that. As you can see, this is the same as is above, so is below, same as the Baphomet. It's just a different time and a different place. They're conservatives. Is one thing that you guys are gonna notice is that these gods do the same thing over and over and over. They can't reproduce. They can't produce anything. They have to reproduce things. It gets kind of boring. That's why I was saying before. Eventually, I can just see the patterns in which things are going in, and we've taken it all the way back to Babylon. We've taken it back to Phoenicia. We've taken it back to when Israel fell. We're back in those times now. And if we're going to overcome these times, we have to overcome sin. And in these next few videos, that's all I really want to do. That's all I really want to do with my time now. A lot of this stuff that we doing and watching on YouTube is for entertainment. Even watching these men that I talked about today go through their suffering is all for our entertainment. And if you notice, it all has children involved. Think about how bad it hurts when you got to go through the problems that you might have to go through with your ex-wife or your wife that you may be going through right now. Think about all the problems that and all the pain that your children are going through with the separation of your family. The fact that they got to go from one parent to the next parent. They got to watch their parents arguing and fussing and fighting. They got to watch us cheating on each other and betraying each other. They got to watch us fall from being economically on top of the pile to being totally and desolate. These kids got to watch this, and these kids they're being sacrificed. Even if this is not a actual physical sacrifice. Just look at everything that our children are going through. How they go through these, I don't know if you guys have been watching Instagram, but they're fighting all the time. 4th of July, they took over some beach. I forgot exactly where it was, but the kids were just total anarchy. It was just total anarchy. They were, burning up cop cars and doing all kind of crazy stuff. Think about when the Knicks won, how the kids were just going crazy in the streets, and all this smash and grabs and stuff that these kids are doing. Why do you think these kids are doing this? These kids are doing this because they're hurting. They're in pain. This world is in total anarchy. They're constantly on their phones and watching, God knows what on those phones. They're bombarded with pornography all the time, and violence and things of that nature. Like, do you really spend time with your kids? Really spend time with your kids? When I say your kids, I mean your teenage kids. I got teenage kids, and I know how hard it is. They're in their own world at this point in time. And it's like now, when I was coming up, we had extra things to do. I used to break dance when I was a kid. We had real hip hop in which we would do graffiti and break dancing, and we used to rap and battle each other with raps and all kind of stuff like that. We would have fun. What do these kids have now? How are they having fun now? And then you take all of that and you take it to adults act a lot like kids now. So it's just like, when is this going to stop? Is it going to stop with us? Is it going to stop with the next generation? Is it ever going to stop? I mean, just look at what's going on right now. Honestly, just think about this. If we were to have a civil war at this point in time, and men and women aren't getting along right now together, it'd be very easy for them to just draft all of our children onto their sides. And then, once everybody is in total anarchy and everything is really coming down to it, it'll be really easy for them to just take us over. Why? Because we're not united. We're not united the way God wants us to be united. We're not united between man and woman. And if we're not united between man and woman, we're definitely not a family. If we're not a family, then how do we have a community? If we don't have a community, how we have a society? It just keeps breaking down and breaking down and breaking down. And I just want y'all to see this and recognize this, not to make mockery of everybody we was talking about. I pray for that poor girl, Aaliyah Brown, and everything she went through in her life with everything. From the time she's been on this earth, she's just been struggling. Now she's been missing for all of this time. When they arrested her mom wasn't even with her. That's the reason why she got arrested, because her father saw that when she got arrested, she wasn't with her daughter. So where is her daughter? She's been arrested for a couple of days now. And they still don't know where her daughter is. It's just alarming. And it really, really, really stirred me from my gut. Because it's y'all got kids just like I got kids. And at some point you got to let them go. But they still your child. They still, you still think about them. You still worry about them. They'll always be your baby. And when are we going to stop sacrificing our babies? It's only going to happen when we learn how to choose each other, not based on sexuality or how much money we making, but just to be good to one another and to grow with one another and to have each other's back. I know this sounds crazy. Maybe it may reach one person. And I know most of y'all gonna think y'all ain't even make it to the end of this video. Because all y'all really want to see is the glamour, us tearing each other down, and it's just fun watching everybody else go through all type of stuff. I was watching that young man that got missing. He got thrown off the boat, or he fell off the boat, or whatever. And, he was with a whole bunch of white friends, and now everybody acting as though they don't know what happened. The police don't know what happened. It ain't no arrest, but he's gone. I'm out. Peace out. Have a good day. I ain't mean to depress y'all. Don't forget about Plain Planet. The inspiration behind Plain Planet is not just some flat earth conspiracy theory. It's the idea that your vision in life belongs to you. You don't have to believe something that you've learned in school. You don't have to believe something that science tells you is true. You can believe what you want to believe. You could be who you want to be. This is the essence of Plain Planet. Plain Planet is a clothing line. It's a Christian clothing line on top of it that you can actually wear and be proud of. This ain't churchy or Bible thumping. This is a quality streetwear brand. This is Plain Planet. Clothing you can believe in.
Dreams come true, and I wonder if you know